Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, let me conclude the last topic of ours, that is the theoretical framework. So what we learned in the theoretical framework, we learned many concepts. First is we need to have the theoretical framework in the deductive approach. We start with the theoretical framework. We understand the definitions of the variables identified by the theoretical framework, and we also understand the relationship between the variables through theoretical framework, a theory which is established by some well-known researchers. And after finding the theory which is relevant to solve our problem, we learn through the literature, we finalize the few important variables, and we try to use that particular theory in the constraint and in the framework of the theory. So we use the important variables, the critical variables, the significant, the variables which are impacting to the solution of the problem. We will choose them and we will put them in the theoretical framework. So that's what we have learned. And without theoretical framework, there is no hypothesis testing. And without hypothesis testing, you can never refute any theory, you can never accept any theory. So theoretical framework is primarily important to test any theory, and that is the deductive reasoning. So no deductive reasoning, deductive approach, quantitative approach is possible without theoretical framework. Understood? Okay, let's move ahead. We talk about the variables over here. So the variables, I have used, I think, many times the word variable. So what does that mean to you? What does variable mean to you? Anyone has an idea? What does variable mean to you?
Variable means which can be varied.
Very good. Which can be very simple, very easy.
It can increase or decrease.
It can increase and decrease. Yes.
And a positive and negative impact.
Positive, negative, very good. Positive, negative. So you see, we have an idea. So basically, in research, we take factors as a variable. Factors. Factors means the possible factors which can create a situation. For example, the factors which can create the intention of the consumer. The factors which can generate the buying of a behavior. The factor which can generate the response of a consumer. We can generate the response of a consumer. So you see, these are the variables relationship. Now, when we talk about the variables, we categorize in the 4 parts. First is the dependent, the second is the independent, third is the moderating, and the fourth is mediating. So write it down. I think you have already written, I guess. Okay. So these are the main types of variables. Dependent, independent. Let me write it for you. Dependent, independent, moderator, and mediator. Okay, so these are the 4 types of variables. So if you see, this is what we are describing the whole topic. Objectives are there. What are the objectives? Student learning objective, SLO, are understanding the different variables, and we will be learning centered, and your class assignment I will be giving you after a while. You may write it down, or I think already shared this presentation. So these are the class assignments, home assignments. These are the home assignments which you are supposed to bring in the next class, upcoming class. Okay. You may see in the presentation The presentation has already been shared. Okay, let's start with the dependent variable, as I mentioned before. So dependent variable is the main actor, the hero of our research. Why? Because the whole story of a research revolves around the dependent variable. For example, you want to understand the behavior of a customer, you want to understand the usage of a technology, you want to understand the performance of employee, you want to understand the organization commitment of employee. So you see, these all are the dependent variable. So you can easily find any dependent variable from the topic of a research. You name any topic, I can tell you the name of a dependent variable. Okay, so the dependent variable is the main variable. It is also called criterion variable. It is also called criterion variable. A manager is concerned that the sales of a new product introduced after test marketing do not meet with his expectations. Okay, I'm just giving the example. A manager is concerned that the sales of a new product do not meet with expectation. The dependent variable here is sales. Dependent variable here is a manager is saying that sales is not as per. For example, manager expected 10 million sales, but the sales is 5 million. So this is the problem. It required solution. So you see, this is the main actor of our research. Okay. Since the sales of the product can vary, they can be low, medium or high. That you just answered. The variable has to vary. And you mentioned negative and positive. Same, high and low. High, low. It can vary. Okay. It is a variable. Since sales is the main focus of interest to the manager, it is the dependent variable. As I already mentioned, it is the main focus. That is why it is the dependent variable. There is always a tussle between quality and volume of output, low cost production and customer satisfaction, and so on. So let's understand how we approach any problem. Whenever you will be having any numerical, any question in the exam, how you have to approach. You have to approach step by step. The steps are important. There are 3 steps to solve any numerical, any problem. There are 3 steps. Whenever you come across any problem, any scenario, any situation, what you do? You go with the 3 steps. Write it down, everyone. And if you go this way, inshallah, you will be able to solve every single problem of your book and in your exam as well. So the first step is take out the variable from the scenario. Whatever the variables are, you have to take it out. This is a tricky part actually. You see, variables are not nouns. They are not nouns. They are the actions. For example, is Hamza a variable? जी? नहीं. अच्छा, camera is a variable? Yes? अच्छा, ये मिस कह रही है yes. अच्छा, आप कह रही हैं. This is not true. Wrong. Is marker a variable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, but it is a noun. How can it be? Does it perform? Is it writing? Okay. That's what I am saying. It is noun. So now I am making you understand very important concept. The variable is not noun. It is the one who is the characteristic. The variable is the one which represents the characteristic. For example, lecture is not a variable, but lecture quality is a variable. Hamza is not a variable. Hamza's height is a variable.
Hamza's performance.
Performance is a variable. Student is not a variable. Student performance is a variable. Employee is not a variable. Employee performance is a variable. Organization is not a variable. Organization turnover is a variable. Elephant is not a variable. Elephant height is a variable. Weight is a variable. Cycle is not a variable. Cycle weight is a variable. Yogurt is not a variable. Yogurt taste is a variable. Shampoo is not a variable. Shampoo performance is a variable. It's performance. What does it do? Quality. So you see, the variables are the one which represent the characteristic. Very important. Yes. मैं नहीं आ रहा. अरे नहीं. फ्रेम से बाहर हाँ. ना. Okay, so you see what we have learned. We have learned that variables are the one which are the characteristic. Okay, and we have learned the dependent variable. Dependent variable is the one which is the main actor of any research, the criterion variable. So the discussion revolves around the dependent variable. Very, very important variable. Okay, so I just mentioned for solving any exercise what you have to do. First step is finding the variable. Now you know what is variable. Now you know. So in any situation, in any scenario, you can easily find out the variable, name of the variables. Can you find out? Okay, I will test you soon. The second step is categorize them as per their types. You have to categorize them. That, for example, there are two variables, marker quality. Okay. Marker color, for example.
Price.
Color. Okay. Over here. Step 2. Marker color is the dependent variable. ठीक है. Or you may say marker quality is a dependent variable. That is a better one. Marker quality is a dependent variable. Okay. So over here you have to categorize. Over here you have to mention all the variables you have. And at the end you have to develop a model. The model will be like that. Remember, always remember. The model will be like that. Marker color is impacting the marker quality. Got it? So basically what we have learned, that to solve any problem we have to take a step by step, starting from the first step, that is the mentioning all the variables you find in the scenario. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. Write it down, everyone. Then you have to categorize which one is it dependent, which is independent, which is mediating, which is moderating, if there is any. Then what do? You make a conceptual model. Now there is a little chance of mistake. This is my own invention. During my study, during my teaching, I found this relatively students don't make mistake when they follow these instructions. So I think the steps are very important. So in your exam, I prefer you to use these 3 steps. Okay? Shall we move on? Are we clear up till now? Okay, let's move to the scenarios. Okay, let's start. Your pen must be writing. This is a scenario. Scenario 1. Scenario 1. Yes, go, done? Step 1. Let's start. Step 1. What are the variables? Overconfidence. Second.
New information.
What?
New information.
New information. No, I don't know the correct one. I am just writing whatever you are saying. I will tell you once I write it. Any other else? Anyone else? Behavior? Behavioral finance. Finance. Anything else? Investors. And anything else? Underreact. Anything else? Done? I think variables are more than the scenario. Chale, it's a first try. So I appreciate that you have taken out many variables. Let's see that they are correct or not. Research in behavioral finance has shown. Research in behavioral finance shows. So you see, this is not, even your scenario has not started. Even your scenario is not started. That. So there is no, don't try to find variables. It is just for you to get distracted. Unfortunately, you distracted. Okay, overconfidence can cause investors to underreact to new information. What is the dependent variable in this case? So first thing is, start from there. Overconfidence can cause investor to underreact to new information. So new information is nothing. It is just showing the reason of action. But we are interested in the action. What is the dependent variable? So what do you think now? What are the dependent? So you see we have many. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of 5 there are only 2. So shall I rub the rest? Yes. Okay? ठीक है. Now second step. Step 2 is what? Categorize. Since we are interested in the one category, that is the dependent, we have learned that. We do not know more than that. So that what should be the dependent variable? The main actor. What is the main actor? Okay. Research in finance has shown that overconfidence can cause investors to underreact. So, what investors are behaving? My question, I am repeating my question again. Now talking to you. You are correct. I am saying, what is happening to the investors? What is the investor's behavior? Middle part. जी ये बताइए. हाँ जी शाबाश, किसी ने हल्के से बोला है अंडररेटेड। जी आप क्या समझते हैं? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? यस, ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस। आई रिपीट माई क्वेश्चन, what happens to the behavior of the investor? Behavior of the investor. Got it? Repeat my question to yourself. If you are wrong, investors are underreacting. This. So underreact is the dependent variable.
Underreacting is because of overconfidence.
जी
तो मतलब वो है ना, एक रिएक्शन है किसी कॉज का, मैं किया तो फिर वही हुआ ना, ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस की वजह से तो अंदर रिएक्ट किया ना।
नहीं, we are interested in the under reaction of the investor. We are not interested the reason behind it. We are interested in the reaction, the behavior. Why? Because we are concerned what is happening.
ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस हाई भी बन जाएगा,
वो हम आगे
हो जाएगा।
after a while. Rest will be confused. So step 3 is what? Conceptual model. So when out of two variable, one variable is under react, so what should be the next one? What should be the next one? And whenever there are two variables, one variable has to be dependent or independent. So when we say it is dependent, it is dependent. So there must be an independent. That is the over confidence. That is the independent. Got it? ठीक है? Now is it easy for you now? So you see, the question seems very easy, but you need to read thoroughly, not once, twice, and there are times when you have to read thrice or more than that, but catch the variables properly. If you do not catch the variables properly in the step 1, there is a high chance that you will be making a mistake in the categorization, because when there is no variable like you have chosen, then how can you categorize that? And if you categorize it wrongly, then how can this conceptual model can be correct? Can it be correct? It cannot be correct. So it's very important that your selection is correct, your selection is correct, your categorization is correct, and then only your model will be correct. Okay ji, let's move ahead. So you see, ठीक है, this is the solution of the problem which we discussed. Okay, let's do another one. Let's try our learning again. Step 1. I don't desire your answer. I want you to go step by step. Go step by step. Step by step. नहीं, इसमें नहीं. Write it down, then we will talk. Again, don't take shortcut. When I say don't go for shortcut, then don't go for that. You will be stumble. The students at the back, you guys can open your book on the file server or hard copy if you have. I am expecting better answer this time. Shall we start discussing? Who is saying yes? Complete it. Step 1. a marketing manager believes that limiting the availability of a product increases product desirability, what is the dependent variable here? The first step is to take out the variables.
Limited availability.
Limitation of this availability.
You can also take product availability. Both are correct. So you need to understand that literature helps you in that actually. It is just a learning situations we are discussing, but the literature tells you what is the exact variable name. So you can also take product availability. Product availability. So product availability of increases product desirability. So what step 1? Product availability. I am just writing the shortcut. No, is it problematic? Desirability. Step 2. What is the dependent variable? So what is the model? Yes? PD, where would the PD be? Here.
On the right.
After head, before. Right. And where will be PA? Shabash. Good. ठीक है जी? See, it is very easy now. Okay, let's move ahead. Shall I rub it? Okay. This arrowhead is very, very important because it shows which one is dependent and which one is. Wherever the arrowhead is on the variable, it is called dependent. It is called. Yes. This is the answer. Okay, let's start discussing independent variable. It is a little tricky one because independent variables has a great detail. It is called predictor variable. Independent variable is called predictor variable. And independent variable is one that influences the dependent variable in either a positive or negative way. Very important. Every variable has positive and negative impact. Okay? You might have seen is there a positive relationship or negative? No relationship. Then what we are doing now? What is it? When the availability increases. When the availability increases.
सर नेगेटिव
सर ये क्वालिटी बढ़ेगी
लिमिटेशन आ रही है तो मतलब डिक्रीज हो रही है ना तो डिक्रीज
My answer my question. When the availability of a product increases, what happens? जी? Answer my question. When the availability increases, what happens? Desirability increases or decreases? Increases. This positive. ठीक है? Direct, you may say direct. ठीक है? It is called the nature of the relationship. So that's what they were talking about over here. You see, negative or positive relationship. Okay. So to establish that a change in the independent variable causes a change in the dependent variable, all four of the following conditions should be met. They say that independent variable, there is a condition for that no variable is independent until it is satisfy the four conditions. What are them? A change in the dependent variable should be associated with the change in the independent variable. It is the ideal condition actually, and it is for the cause and effect relationship. Cause, लिख लें अपने पास, write it down. Cause and effect relationship. Or you may say cause and effect relationship. cause and effect relationship. Okay, so this is the ideal scenario actually. So when you are using the correlation you are talking about. So actually you do not need that all the four has to happen, okay? But still it is the best independent dependent relationship, that is the causal relationship. Causal relationship is the one in which there is a true independent and dependent relationship. Very important point I am telling you. In the causal relationship there is a true relationship between independent and dependent variables. So these 4 points are for that. In the correlational, the one which we were talking about before, there is no need of all the 4 to be true. Okay? Got it? Okay. You see, a change in the dependent variable should be associated with a change in the independent variable. So there is no change. There is no change in the dependent variable until the independent variables change. Why? Because there is a true relationship. There is a true relationship. The independent variable should precede the dependent variable. First, the independent variable happen, works, either increase or decrease, then only the dependent variable will change. First the independent variable increase or decrease, then only dependent variable will change. This is what it is written. So there are time sequence actually. There are time sequence. Okay, when there is a availability, then only desirability. Then only. So this is important. Then only. When there is no availability, got it? No other factor should be a possible cause of a change in the dependent variable. No other factor could be a possible, should be a possible cause of a change. Cause of a change in the dependent variable. Hence the researcher should control of the effects of other variables. So what does that mean? It means that if you say the availability is changing the desirability, so you need to ensure that it is happening. If it is not happening, then you will be confused. For example, if there are other factors which are involved. For example, the competitor is out of market. So what happens? There you cannot find the true relationship. Or another scenario, there are too many competitors. What will happen? It will change the scenario. So my point is, you need to see, you need to control all the factors, internal and external, and so that you can learn that there is a true relationship between them or not. There is a true relationship or not. So there should not be any variable which is confusing the results. You have to control it. So controlling is very important. So in the cause and effect, we totally control it. Internal validity is very high because we control all the factors. We go into the lab and we conduct the experiment. Go in the cause and effect relationship, we go into the experiment. So experiment conducts in the laboratory. So when we go into the laboratory, all the factors are controlled. When all the factors are controlled, then we can only see that there is a true relationship between the variables. Got it? In correlational study, we do not need for that. We can accept the low internal validity. We can go with that. A logical explanation, a theory is needed. It must explain why the independent variable affects the dependent. There must be a theory. As basically, why? Because we are going to develop the hypothesis to test this relationship. And no hypothesis can be made without any theoretical framework. And no relationship is possible without a theoretical framework. So, first theory, then this relationship, positive, negative, then develop hypothesis, then test it. Then you can say either you accept the theory or reject. Anyway, so basically these are the 4 points which are critically important in the true independent-dependent relationship. Got it? Any questions so far? Or is it clear now? Okay, we shall move further with the exercise. Okay, just do this exercise. Hurry up. Step 1. Step 1. Shabash, shabash, shabash. Hurry up. An investor believes that more information increases the accuracy of his forecast. We are interested in the independent variable this time. We are not interested in the dependent variable this time. You may take out both, but we are interested in the independent variable in this question especially. Complete step 1, step 2, step 3. Where is your notebook? Take it out. Miss, you are not writing anything? लिखा हुआ है? नहीं, पढ़े नहीं, लिखे. See, drill is very important. You can never learn swimming without going into the water. Can you? You cannot actually. You think, but it is not possible. So you need to do this drill. Okay, an investor believes that more information increases the accuracy of his forecast. So, information,
Accuracy.
दो आईडी है एक डीबी है.
Accuracy or information.
सब forecast.
you can take forecast accuracy or only accuracy, both are correct. Since I already told you that you need to see in the literature that what is the exact name of the variable. Since we are just learning the variables, so we are not talking about the literature and nothing. So you can take the both. Both are correct. Accuracy is actually misrepresenting because we are talking specifically about the forecast accuracy. It is not a driving accuracy. It is not a measurement accuracy. It is about the forecast accuracy. So you see, we have the information increases the accuracy. So what is the independent variable? Yes. Amount is, since we know the variable can be measured, so obviously the amount is there. So step 1 is info and forecast are the variables. Step 2, what? Info is independent. Okay. Step 3 is model.
Info.
Where should the info come? Here or there? Shabash. Good. Information and this forecast accuracy. Okay. So you see, now you have learned this. Shall I write it? Okay, we will move ahead. You might be witnessing it an easy one, but the level of difficulty will change in a very short time. Now do this. And someone from you has to solve this. So I may call anyone. Step 1, step 2, step 3. and you are done. Don't mesmerize with the physical attraction of spokesperson. Okay? Focus on the question. So you see physical attractive spokesperson. Okay? So when we see physical attractive, so we take the attractive spokesperson as a variable.
You can say model also.
Yes?
Model.
No, do not change the words over here. Yes, model is afterwards. I am just up till now. Attractive spokesperson. And models. Our marketing manager believes that selecting physically attractive spokesperson and models. And so models must be attractive models. The variable would be to endorse their products increases the persuasiveness of message. Message persuasiveness is the variable. Okay? It should be complete one because persuasiveness could be of any kind. It should be. But still, I tell you again and again, time and again, that you have to look at the literature, that what is the suitable. I just made it for you, but it's just what I made. You need to look at the literature so that you don't divert from the definition of the real variable you are looking for. Okay, so what are the independent variable now? If we jump to the step 2, since we have already marked the variables.
Attractive spokesperson and model.
Yes, attractive spokesperson, attractive models. Step 3.
SA plus MA. Yes. प्लस में क्यों नहीं लिख रहे?
प्लस में प्लस मैसेज persuasiveness. Got it? So you see two independent variables, two factors, important factors. So interestingly, alhamdulillah, you have learned independent variable. Now we are just summarizing and closing the lecture. Do not close your bags, concentrate. First we learn the dependent variable, that is the criterion variable or the predictive variable. Shabash, criterion variable. It is also called criterion. And in that you see, we need to see what is the variable which is solving our problem. What is the real problem? That must be your variable. So it is the main actor of your research. So whenever you come across any scenario, you have to go step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3. That's what we have learned. And we learned what are the variables. Variables are not noun. They are the actions, characteristics. This is what we have learned. Then we move ahead and we learn the independent variable. So it was a pretty detailed one in which I gave you example of 2 studies which make a relationship, correlational study, simple, without cause and effect, and the cause and effect study. Cause and effect relationship is the most strong one, in which there are no other factors which are affecting except the independent variable which we are studying, except the independent variable. But in the correlational study, we have many factors. So this is the example of the correlational study. Everyone look at here. This is the example of the correlational study. Correlational study. Correlational study. Correlational study. So you see, in the correlational study, we have more than one independent variable. But in cause and effect, we say we are checking the relationship. We are truly checking the relationship between 2 variables, okay, without any other variable inclusion. So cause and effect would never have more than one variable. Okay, got it? So what we found, what were the 4 points? Anyone would tell me? What were the 4 points we discussed in the independent variable true relationship? One of the factor was the time. The time. Independent must be before that the dependent. Other one was it should precede that. First independent, then dependent. And the other one is
Change independent. No other factors affect.
yes, change in the dependent is only through the independent variable. And the last one is there must be a logical explanation for their relationship. When there is no logical relationship, there is no independent dependent. So alhamdulillah, we are done with that. Thank you very much for your time.